Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming on here today. We're going to talk about some traditional forms of marketing in an era where everyone's trying to go digital. We often forget that traditional print marketing is also very effective. So, today I want to talk to you guys about some marketing ideas, some traditional marketing ideas for print, postcards, mailings, and so forth. Things like EDDM, every door direct mailing. We're going to talk about building a mailing list and also talk about how to implement that mailing list into a continuous flow of repeating marketing, farming areas, and so forth. So it's important to have, as you're getting ready to do some traditional print marketing, it's important that you guys create a good relationship with a local printer, someone that can create these flyers for you, create some of the good looking visuals, good printing quality, and so forth. And today we have with us George from Space Flyers, and I want to bring him on here. Let him introduce himself. Let him tell you guys about what he does with his company and how he can help you with print marketing. George, take it away, man.
Hey, Mario, thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is George. I'm the president of spaceflyers.com. We've been in business since 2005, and I've been helping realtors actually for about 22 years. I ran a printing company for about 15 years, and then I went on my own in 2013, and I decided to, make sure that all the realtors, understand that printing is important. I know there's a lot of people that do Facebook ads, they do Instagram ads, but at the end of the day, not a lot of people may have that power to go to Facebook or to see. So traditional mailing is a great option. So today I'm just gonna really quick tell you about my company, and then we're gonna go and dive into how to do an EDDM, and I'm actually gonna show you guys how to go into a route and actually look for maybe your farming area to actually do a mailer, and then we would be able to print those postcards for you. But this is the part that a lot of printing companies do not show people. What they want you to do is they want you to send them the business and then let them do all the work, and then they charge you for it. But then they don't really show you what's really going on in the back end. So that's what we're here today to do. Give me 1 second, and I'm gonna put this presentation up.
Yeah, and man, it's really quick just to touch on that, George. You're absolutely right. A lot of these print companies, they don't show you the process. So I really appreciate you coming on here and showing us how to do the every door direct mailing. So this is for someone that's very budget mindful right now. If you don't want to spend too much money, or maybe hiring someone to do your graphics for you, maybe you're someone that can do it yourselves. George is going to show you how to do that. And I appreciate that, George. I know it's you're taking time out of your schedule to do this for us, and ultimately, hopefully, you can add some value to us, and we can bring some business to your table. So
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. So, yeah, traditional mailers. If you're familiar with traditional mailers, you would have to buy a list. You would have to, buy stamps. You could send it to a mailing company, but the price of stamp actually is higher than doing a EDDM mailer. EDDM mailer is about half the price on postage, which a lot of people don't know. You've probably seen the ads on TV. You've probably seen them commercials, and but you're like, what is that? Like, I don't understand what it is. So I'm gonna give you just a quick background on my company. So it's spaceflyers.com. We always say, let's take your business to the next galaxy. We always pride in our work, our quality. um, just a little bit about myself. So I graduated in Hialeah, Miami Lakes. I have an associate's degree in computer animation. I ran a company, a $30 million a year company. It actually started with two employees, and then it turned into about 120 employees between the press and all the employees in 2 or 3 locations. I ran it as a general manager myself, and then I decided to just go on my own and with what I learned and open up Space Flyer. So I have been in the print industry for about 22 years. So for about 22 years, I've been helping realtors. Before the crash, before pandemic, I've been helping realtors create designs and actually print them. This is my family. I have my wife, Jessica, my kids, George, which we call him JJ, and my daughter. Um, that's my family there. And so, who is Space Flyers? So, we are a print broker and reseller. So, there are large printing companies here in Miami and in different states that do not print to the public. So, that is what we do. We are a print reseller. So, we are your gateway to these great prices in printing that are not offered to the public. So, we're fast full color printing. We do amazing quality. We're affordable. Our customer service is excellent. And what you see there is called a gang run. So when we print these orders for you, we're not printing color copies like you see in the UPS store or FedEx. We're actually printing what's called a gang run. You see all those jobs. Each one is a separate client, and then we put them all on a big sheet, print whatever amount we ordered, 1,000, 2,500, 500, and then we cut them up and split them up. So the cost is actually less than printing copies on a color printer. Our website is really easy to use. We're going to get a little bit into the website later on. We do all kinds of orders. We print, we do graphic design, business cards, postcards, banners, shirts, post signs. We do installations too. If you look at the bottom right, you'll see that we did an installation for a realtor that actually had a listing for a building. So we installed the posts. We did the for sale sign. He sold it within a week after that. We do inside installations for vinyls. We also do apparel. If you guys need some shirts, we could print you a small quantity, large quantity.
Nice.
We do graphic design. Acrylics, and then if you see here, we also do on the website, we have these closing keys. We call them oversized keys. So these are great marketing tools that I could custom make for you with your branding logo, with your brokerage, and we can make sure that the colors are correct. Obviously, if we're Keller Williams, we're not going to go yellow and blue. We know that it's red, white, and black. We do have a lot of the logos in stock, but if you do have the logo, you can send it to us. We'll create it custom for you. And these are great marketing for your closing. You could promote yourself and the person that you did the closing with. Those clients will be happy to hold that key because it's a celebration at the end of the day. All right, give me 1 second. All right, these are just some logos that we created from scratch. We draw them out. If you need a logo, let's say for a team, if you are part of a team, we could do that also. These are our best, referred customers. Our new businesses, realtors, as you see there, is one of our top clients that we print for. These are our reviews. If you check us out on Google and you do Space Flyers printing and graphics, you see that we have about 55 all 5-star reviews. If you read some of the stuff here, they're calling us magicians, they're calling us professional. That's what we pride in. We're not we're not here to give you information and then make sure that it comes out wrong. We want to make sure that you succeed at the end. This is my contact information. Make sure you take a picture of it. You could always text me. If you look at the hours below, you see it's 10 to midnight. A lot of companies are closed at 5. We're not closed at 5. I work all night. Anything you have, any questions you have, you could WhatsApp me. You could text me. You could check out our Instagram Reels. All right. And now, Mario, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the EDDM. Do you have any questions regarding that for now?
No, before you jump into EDDM, maybe we can kind of take a step back and talk about the marketing process, right? The very first step that we should take before diving into EDDM. So I mean, at this point, the realtors or mortgage company, title company, whomever it is, they've decided they want to do print marketing aside from some of their social media, digital stuff, etc. I think the very first thing that the business or the team has to identify is the target audience, right? And then from that target audience, once you decide who you're mailing to, you can kind of start building out your mailing list. So you can have specific mailing lists tailored to each to each target audience. For example, if you wanted to target if you wanted to target renters, maybe your mailing list should be including, or definitely should include, rental buildings, rental communities, etc. If you're targeting, for example, listings, maybe you want to target or build a list around recently distressed properties that have began their foreclosure proceedings. And then another one that just came to mind is if you want to target resale customers. Resale customers is anyone that you may have sold, or they would have bought a property 2 to 3 years ago. That person would have some good equity in their property now. And so each three of those target audience would have a different type of flyer or postcard built by George, right? So you have your renters, you have your distressed properties, and then you have your resale. Just three examples, right, that came to mind as you were giving your presentation, George. So from there, we build our mailing list, 3 individual mailing lists, and then from there we can bring that mailing list to you, right? So now we have a target audience, and then you can build your print material with targeting that specific target audience, and then brings us to EDDM and your print company.
That is correct. So the way there's 2 ways to do a mailer, right? So the way that you're talking about is the traditional mailer where you make your own list. You would send us like an Excel file. We could print it for you. We can mail it. We could do, use a permit number. Now the EDDM works a little bit different. It actually works by routes. So what you do is we're going to show you now how it works, but I just want to explain a little bit how it is. So traditional mailers, depending on what size you do, your postage is going to go up. So for example, if you do a big postcard, it's at least 51 cents a piece, even if you do it in bulk. For the EDDM mailer, you're talking about 19 to 20 cents a piece for the postage. So it's less than half the price. And there's an array of sizes that you can choose. Let me show you really quick.
And then also, does that, and maybe it may be a different question, but EDDM, does that go into like bulk mailing? Is it kind of the same thing?
It's bulk mailing is a little bit different because it requires a list. So I'm gonna show you right now. Give me 1 second, so I
Sure.
can show you. I'm gonna show you
Would
something on my website so you understand a little bit easier.
would bulk mailing be something like, if I want to target I know a building that has a high tenant concentration, would that be something that I use bulk mailing for, or do I use the EDDM?
So you could compare both. So what I always tell people is that I could give you a quote to do a traditional mailer, but if you're gonna go anywhere less than 500 pieces, it is gonna cost you less to print the postcards, put labels, and put stamps on them. I always tell people that. If you're going higher than 500, then EDDM might work, but it all depends on the routes that you pick. The way you could think about EDDM is, if you ever see on the streets, you see people handing out flyers, or you pay somebody and he hands out 5,000 postcards for you. So EDDM works the same thing. You're paying the mailman to actually go and put those postcards into the slots. Now, you cannot say that you only want that building, because he actually has his whole entire route to do. And the whole entire route could include that building, but it could also include the other 3 buildings to the right of that. But at a postage that's half the price, it might make sense to do it that way, and you might get some extra business from the other buildings that you didn't think you were going to get. So I hope that clears that up.
It does. It does.
All right, let me show you. All right, so so if you see on my website, towards the bottom here, this is where I have all the real estate items. These are EDDM approved postcards. So if you notice here on the EDDM approved postcards, you notice that when we design these postcards, all the postcards have these little boxes on it. It says local postal customer, EDDM paid retail. So what I'm going to show you today is that you're going to make an account on the post office website. You're going to be able to go in there and look at a map and actually pick your address and see the routes that the mailman is going to hand out for you. And the more postcards, the more routes you pick, the more postcards you're actually going to need. So we can provide the postcards for you. We could do the part where we bundle them already for you, which is about half the time that you're going to take. And then the other part that you actually have to bundle it, we could show you how to do that. Or if you need us to do the whole entire job, we could do it for an extra fee. But I do want to show you guys, because I want to give you guys the power to actually learn how to do it, because once you have the power to learn how to do this, you're going to want to do different areas that you probably weren't farming before. Maybe you want to do another area that you weren't thinking of, and then now you could get yourself some extra business. So if you notice here, you see how it says local postal customer, EDDM. So these sizes that you see here, so this program actually started about 10 years ago. I sat down with one of the managers at the post office, and he explained to me the way it works, the size of postcards. So you cannot do the small 4x6 postcards that you would do on a traditional mailer. You have to, the minimum sizes here are 4.5 by 12, 6.5 by 9. These are the standard sizes that people choose. Now, if you want to stand out, as a trick that I show everybody, is the longer your postcard is, the more you're going to stand out. So for example, if you do a 6 by 12 postcard and everything that you get in the mail is either 8.5 by 11 or smaller, like if you get an envelope, it's only 8.5 inches wide, a 6 by 12 postcard is going to stick out more than everything else in the mail. So they're going to be forced to grab your postcard first. All these sizes are all the same price for postage. So if you ever have a big event, let's say for New Year's, you're doing a big event and you want a poster to send out, you could do an 8.5 by 14 and it's still 20 cents a piece. Now, if you do a traditional mailer, that's going to cost you over $1 something a piece, to do
Good to
that
know.
size. So if you want to do something really big and say, I'm the biggest realtor in this area, you could do that size. Obviously, the bigger you go, the more it costs. But you have all these sizes to pick from. You could choose the quantities here. I have all the pricing there. And the bundling. The bundling, I'm going to go into detail how that works once I show you the EDDM. But the bundling is basically, it's a little bit time consuming, but we could do the bundling already for you. So when we give you the boxes, they're already wrapped up in hundreds. Okay, so let me show you guys. Do you want to talk about anything, Mario, before I
No,
continue?
one thing that I wanted to kind of point out: marketing is all about tracking, right? So it does us no good just to send out a million postcards if we didn't track how good those postcards did. So one of the things that I've done before on our print mailings is I do a QR code on all of the postcards, and then that QR code would be linked to a specific landing page. So, for example, when I've targeted before rental buildings, and on that postcard there'll be a QR code that when somebody scans it, it takes them to a landing page that talks about renting versus owning. And now I can see how many people visited that web page, because that's the only web page that's attached to those QR codes that I've mailed out. So if I mail out 1,000 postcards and I get 250 hits on the website, I know that had a 25% success rate. And
Correct.
then on that landing page is about how good is that landing page at converting the actual visits to leads, right? So that's something that I've done to be able to measure print mailing, because it is something that has been difficult to do before, and marketing is all about tracking. Can you give us any other ideas or thoughts about how to track print mailing?
Regarding tracking, what I always tell customers also is, if you're thinking about doing a mailer and you're gonna do it one time, don't expect a huge return on it, right? So you have to be consistent. I have realtors that I've been doing for the last 3 years every month, and they do 3 or 4 communities. They're top producers, 140 million a year that they do. But these guys, they spend the money to do it, but they get it back, so there's a reason why they're a top producer, is because obviously they're spending the money. Obviously everybody has a different budget, but what's cool is about the EDDM mailer is that you could start small. You could do a small area. You don't have to do 5,000 pieces. You could do 500 pieces, and that your postage is not that much, but do it consistently so that way you're in everybody's face, and that would help you in marketing
Yep.
also.
Data tells us you have to hit someone about 4 or 5 times with the same information before they actually click, or right, they contact you. So 100%, if somebody's going, if you're thinking about committing to print mailing, budget out so that you at least commit to sending out 3 or 4 pieces before giving up on that particular mailing, which goes back to the importance of tracking, right? Because if I'm targeting a specific rental community, and maybe we can build out 2 different postcards, 2 different QR codes, 2 different landing pages, so now we can track which one of those postcards, given the information on it, right, different designs and so forth, see which one gets the most clicks, then that's the one I'm going to pick and continue to just use going forward. So QR code is something that I've used multiple times on very different types of marketing, but I think print marketing in particular, something that's very, very useful. So, all right, let me add you to, there you go.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me make sure this is the page. All right, can everybody see that? Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
we
we got
got
you.
it. Okay, perfect. So the first thing you're gonna do is, you see this website here, you have to make an account, right? So the reason that you wanna make an account is because it's gonna give you a number, an account number for the post office website. Not only that, later on, when you actually start doing your mailers, you will be able to save them into your account. So you could start off, let's say, picking some of the routes, which I'm going to show you, but then later on you can add. So if it worked out for you, maybe you want to add a little bit more and do a second mailer with extra postcards. So Mario, give me your address there for the location.
15951
Okay.
Southwest 41 Street,
All right, perfect.
Davie, Florida.
Oh, all right,
Yep.
perfect.
So I actually I've looked at the area around here and I've built out a route before. So it's gonna be interesting to see what you come up with to kind of see if we kind of match.
You got it. So first, the first thing, when you get these maps, if you hover over these maps, so we spoke about earlier the routes, right? So the way the routes work is when you hover over this map, that mailman, you see how it turns purple.
Yep.
He is in charge of that route. Now, one mailman could be in charge of that route, could be in charge of this one, could be in charge of this one. But the first thing you want to do first, if you're a realtor, you obviously want to go after residential businesses. So the first thing you do, you want to change this to residential. Now, if you want to go after like other businesses or investors, maybe you want to go, then residential and business may work for you. But for the most part, realtors would be residential only. So you switch that first. You could also search by age. You could search by income, but I usually tend to keep these the same. So that way I don't touch that. I try to keep it like that so that way I could just get the most. The more picky you start choosing, the less you're gonna get, right? So now here is a table. Okay, so these are all the routes that are near that location within a 1 mile radius. Now, if you start picking on these, you're gonna notice on the right hand side, it's gonna start putting the prices, right? So for example, if you wanted to do, this is your location, but you want Mario to get a postcard in there. So I would pick this location, I would pick this location, and then you see as you start picking, the price and the pieces start going up. Now we spoke about if you just wanted to do that building for Mario, well maybe a building that Mario's in has only 300 tenants. So in that case, you would just print, let's say, postcards and mail them out yourself. It would be cheaper than actually doing it like this. But if you want everybody in the area to know who you are, then this is the way to do it. And if you already sold a property, this is great for realtors that have sold a property and then they want everybody in the area to know I'm the one that sold that property, right? You want to get that extra business from all the neighbors. So this is the best way to do it and the least expensive way. So the price would be, this is what your price would be for the postage on our website. The printing price You would add those together, and that would be your combined price of what you're going to spend on doing the mailer.
So George, the more postcards I print with you,
Mhm.
the cheaper it becomes, right?
Right. So it depends how you're going to do your marketing, right? So, like you were saying, maybe you want to do a small amount, like different types of postcards to test. Or I have agents that they say I want to print 5,000 postcards, but I only want to mail right now. Let's say, I want to mail 1,900. Well, you still have the rest. I'm going to give you all the postcards, so you could do whatever you want with those. So if you have a generic postcard that says, "We have buyers in your area, please call me. I'm an agent." So that would be the type of postcard that you would do in bulk. Now, if you have something that has an expiration or a QR code that you're testing, and you want to do it in smaller increments, then the price it's going to cost you more to do 5 batches of 1,000 than to do one batch of 5,000. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and the nature of the question was, once we've identified which mailing I want to focus on and send out more, even if the route shows, for example, 1900
Hmm.
1900 pieces, doesn't mean that I'm going to print 1900 pieces every time. If it becomes much cheaper for me to print 6,000 pieces, and now I have 3 months worth of mailings to send out, then it probably makes sense to
Yeah,
do that,
if
right?
if if it's a generic, like I said, if it's something generic, but for the most part, I have realtors that, let's say, they have a building that they farm, right? They have an area, but a few blocks away, the properties are way higher. They don't want anybody to see, and those properties that they're selling $200,000 houses. So they do two different postcards. They do one to target, that demographic, and what they make, and then they do another postcard that says, "I sold this one for 1 million." So it all depends on how you do your marketing too.
Yeah. And again, I could not stress enough how important it is to be able to measure and track your marketing. Again, once you make a 3 or 4 month commitment or mailings commitment, you must find a way to track how effective that mailing has been. For me, I found that QR codes and converting it to website clicks and then capturing the lead has worked. To some people, it may be just phone calls or text. Regardless of the way you decide to measure it, definitely it must be implement a measuring must be implemented in the marketing.
That's correct. So I want to show you something. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to actually go all the way to the end so you could actually see what happens. So let's say we want to go ahead and do 1,900 pieces. So in our website, you'll see that we do in different increments. We have 1,000, 2,500, 5,000. So if you have 1,920 pieces, we would have to print 2,500 pieces, and then you keep the extras, which is actually good because you could actually, the minimum mailer, I believe, for a EDDM, I believe, is 250 pieces or 350. So you could actually keep it and do it if you want those same postcards in another area and just reuse the postcards. Um, so let's continue all the way to the end. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second.
Now, for um, as long as I'm building out a mailing list, let's say not EDDM, but I'm building out a specific mailing list, you're saying that as if I'm mailing out less than 500 pieces, then it may make sense to mail that out directly. But you still be able to print my postcards in bulk.
Yeah, yeah. The postcards, it's the prices you see there. So the section that I showed you that says EDDM, that is the sizes that are intended for EDDM. I have another section on the website that says postcards and flyers, and you could actually pick whichever size you want. So normal postcards are 4 by 6, 5.5 by 8.5, 6 by 9. Those are the ones that, or 5 by 7. Those are the ones that you could just put a stamp on it, and it will cost you what a stamp costs. But you do have to do the work where you have to print the addresses. You could, do a mail merge, or you could actually do it in Microsoft Word and put the addresses, and then you have to stick them on and actually send it out. But yeah, I could do the postcards. I could do the postcards. I could do, if you have a traditional mailer with a list, I could get you a price to do it. And I could also do the EDDM. So you have 3 ways to do it. There, whichever way you're more comfortable with. If you want to do it yourself, some realtors, they say, well, I want to do that building, but I want to take my time. I want to send out 100 at a time. No problem. You send out 100 at a time. I want to do the EDDM because, I want to farm that whole area. I want to become the new top producer in that area. So you do it that way also.
Yeah, I think EDDM for farming, traditional farming, is phenomenal because it's so cost effective versus saying this, mailing out with traditional postcards. I think that EDDM is definitely the way to go for traditional farming of your areas. 100%.
You got it. Let me get your address one more time because I guess
One
it
five
kicked me out.
nine five one
Okay. Southwest.
Southwest 41 Street, Davie, Florida.
Sorry about that. It kicked me out.
So on here, you're taking us to the end of.
Yeah. So I'm
You
just gonna
selected a
pick.
couple of routes.
I'm just gonna pick. So another thing too. So once you select these routes, if
Mhm.
you go here to let's just pick 2 routes. It doesn't matter which ones. If you go to the table and you scroll, you'll be able to see. Let me see. Did I pick the routes?
You'll be able to see the routes that you selected.
Yeah, they turn blue. You see how they turn blue?
Yep.
They go from purple to blue.
Yep.
So if you go here, you see these are the routes.
Like,
So you could actually keep these routes. Like what I like to do and tell people to do is these routes, copy them and paste them into like an Excel document. And that way you know which routes you did. Maybe you don't want to do all of these routes right now, but at least you know which ones you did, and then you could keep on doing the rest. Now, if you want to do the whole area, you could. But let's just go to the next. It's going to ask you the date that you want to drop it off. So you got to make sure that first you get the postcards because you can't just pick the date yet. So you have to make sure you get the postcards because the date you pick is the date you have to drop it off. If you drop it off before or you drop it off the next day, I've had realtors that have called me and said, "Hey, I dropped it off the next day." Guess what? The post office is going to make you get every single bundle. If you have 50 bundles, they're going to make you get it, scratch it off, initial the date, and redo it again in front of them.
that
So
sounds like fun.
so that does not sound like fun. Trust me, they do not like that. So the date that you're going to do it, make sure that you drop it off that date because some places, depending on the employees, some places are cool. They'll let you drop it off. But some places, they will not. They'll make you rewrite it. They'll say, here's our marker. I need you to scratch off today's date and put tomorrow, So you could pick the date. All right. And then just put, I have red. This is another thing I always tell realtors. So to test out, you definitely don't want to pay online, right? You don't want to pay online. You want to pay at post office. I always do pay at post office because let's say, God forbids, you can't make it that day, you can't do it. You just reprint the labels and redo it again, and nobody has charged you for anything, right? But if you pay online, it takes about 3 months to get your money back if you mess up. So I definitely say pay at post office, done. Okay, you get your order number, and then down here you're gonna get your forms. So these forms right here, this is called facing slips, and these are the USPS, the PS 3587 form, which is something that you drop off. All right, so I want to show you something. So this is what you're gonna get, right? You're gonna get a PDF, and this is what it's gonna show you, right? The address. When you drop off your mailers, this page right here that you see, they're basically just gonna scan the barcode. They're gonna say you need to pay this, and then they're gonna check the pieces that you're dropping off. So it's very simple. Now, this other page that they give you, this is a list of all the routes. This is what the mailman is gonna pass out for you, right? So you need to know where it's gonna go. You already have the zip code. You have the amount of pieces. And the way it works, I did a small little thing here for you guys so you guys could understand. All right. So for example, if you have 542 pieces, you have to put them in 4 bundles of 100 and 1 bundle of 42. So you have 5 bundles, right? If you have it on your desk. So the first bundle, these are called facing slips. These slips, they're going to give you a PDF with 1 page, right? So you have to make 5 copies of that page because you have 5 bundles. You're going to write the date. You're going to write the bundle, what it has, and you're going to write 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5. The first 4 bundles are 100, like we spoke here, but the last one only has 42. So you're going to write 42, and then you're going to write 5 of 5. Once you finish that route, you go to the next one, and you keep on going until you finish that. Once you do all those and you take that paper, you drop it off at the post office, you pay them, and in 2 days, everybody's going to have those postcards in their mail. So EDDM is very easy to use. It's just being organized. If you have to be organized, because, for example, if you are farming something in Brickell, but you live here in Weston and you do your mailer, you have to drop off those postcards in the post office in Brickell. It's going to actually tell you which post office it is. You see how here it tells you the Everglades? Okay, so if you have postcards and I started picking some routes in another area, it might add a second post office, but you have to make sure that those routes go to this post office and the other ones go to the other one. So it's you have to be very organized. But for the most part, if you're just doing the same area, it's all the same routes. So it's not two post offices. But I've had a customer that has given me 4 post offices to go to, and they just want, let's say, 500 here, 500 there, 500, and we'll do it for you. But gas is expensive, so we are gonna go, the extra mile and do it for you. But just understand that, if you try to keep it all in the same area, it's gonna save you a little bit of money.
And it sounds like for efficiency for the sake of efficiency and time, I much rather just hire you to do this for me.
but it's not that hard. But once you start going into larger amounts, let's say you have 3,000, 4,000 to do. So EDDM caps you at 5,000 per day. You cannot go past 5,000 per day. There is a way to go more than 5,000, but you have to have a business permit, which we do have. So if you do need to do like a large area and you say, I want 20,000, I want everybody in my zip code, then we could do it for you, but we would have to do it for you. You can't do it yourself.
Well, I mean, George, it makes sense to me that, I mean, I want my team on the phones, in front of customers, on the road, selling, whether it be, loans, whether it be properties, whatever it is, right? I think, at least for me and my team, we definitely hire you over us trying to do something like this, because I'm a big believer in letting the professionals do what they do. And you're a professional at this. It'll probably take me a few tries to get this right. That's time lost, money wasted. I'd rather just pay a few extra bucks to get you and your guys to take care of this for us, rather than go through trial and error and mess it up, right? So yeah, I tend to let the professionals do their job.
But like I had mentioned to you before, like I definitely want to teach people how to do it, because somebody might have a small mailer. Maybe they have 400 pieces. So I don't want to charge them $100 for 400 pieces when they could just do it in 10 minutes.
No, understood.
But yeah, I mean, if you want us to do it, we could definitely do it. But the whole training today was just to show them how it works, because a lot of people don't understand it. I mean, this that I'm showing you here, I mean, it took me probably like 2 years to completely grasp, to master it. But I've showed realtors one time, and right now they do their own mailer. So it depends. I mean, depends on the person. Yeah. But for the most part, we could help you, of course.
And the consistency of the mailings, I think, is very important. So just to kind of recap on here before we get off, number one, determine your target audience, right? Your demographics. Who are you mailing this out to? Is it only renters? Is it only property owners? Like, determine that first. From there, you start building your postcard. This is where someone like George comes in and helps you with a design, what verbiage to put on there, how to track, maybe through QR codes, website visits, and so forth. From there, you're building your mailing list. You can use things like EDDM. Remine is a great resource for realtors to use. Remine gives you data on everything you can possibly imagine that's real estate. I can pull up lists of recently, foreclosure proceedings. I can pull up, properties that have been late longer than 90 days. I can pull up any owner that lives in a particular area with a exact income. I can pull up all of that information through Remine. So I can use Remine to build a specific mailing list, which you could also help us with. And that would be more of a bulk mailing, right? If I identify a rental community and I just want to do just that rental community, Remine is the way to go. If you're farming your area, then you definitely want to do EDDM. From there, you can print, right? Determine the amount and how many times you're going to send out the mailings. Commit to at least 3 to 4 mailings before you call it quits or changing strategies and so forth. Once you mail it out, George can help you either walk you through the process or do the whole process for you. And step number 5 or 6, or the last step, is repeat everything again. Right. So
That's correct. Yeah, if anybody here that's listening to this, if you guys need help, I'm a call away. You guys could call me, you could text me. If you decide that you want to try it out and do like a small amount, maybe you want to try it out, I have no problem showing you over the phone, a Zoom, a FaceTime, whatever you want. Show it to me, and I'll tell you if you did it right before it goes to the post office. I could show it to you. If you feel more comfortable us doing it, no problem. We'll do it for you also.
awesome. Hey, George, man, I appreciate your time. Very, very helpful. If you guys want to reach George, I put his information at the bottom.
Yeah.
Otherwise, George, if you have anything else to add, man, before we get off.
No, that's it. Just check out our website. You'll see in the bottom we have all the realtor items. We have not only postcards, we do magnets, we do open house flags, we do yard signs. So anything you guys need, just I'm a call away. My information is right here. You could take a picture of it or just call me.
Thank you, guys. And if you guys want to brainstorm any ideas, I'm also a call away just to put some ideas together on print, digital, and so forth. Otherwise, thank you, guys. I hope this was useful. And until next time, stay safe.
Thank you so much.